Good morning, everyone. It's Dr. Arlene Diamco, the MultiDimensional MD. My mission is to bring spirit back to medicine because it wasn't meant to be separated in the first place. And my topic today is all about grace. 5 ways grace can help us heal. And as you know, my dad passed about 4 weeks ago, so I might be bringing up some things and that have been helping me through this. But as you listen to it, when you think about these challenges or grief or any sadness, don't think about it necessarily always as a grief of a loved one passing. It can also be any kind of grief of life transitions, of things being disappointing or not what you expected, of the uncertainty. So yeah, think about it just how it can be more personal for you as I go through different things. And grace is usually discussed in the context of religion, but it doesn't really belong to religion. It belongs to the spirit. So for me, that transcends religion. So it doesn't matter to me what religion you are, because as we talk about this, because grace is a virtue of the spirit. It doesn't have to be necessarily tied to religion. So as I talk about that, just to keep that in mind, because I want this to be accessible to really anyone. So when I was thinking about this, I turned to the various definitions of grace. And the first one I saw was simple elegance. Being graceful, like a dancer, moving. And for me, this is all about being in the flow. And this we talk about in Tai Chi and osteopathy. I've mentioned this before, but the health is always in the flow. It's not when some things feel stuck, whether it's emotions, whether it's the mind, whether it's the body, that's when symptoms come up. So in terms of grace to me equals flow, and that health is always in the flow. And if we want to think about it, flow both in terms of movement, but also in terms of life. So in terms of movement, if you imagine a movement before you do it, like if you imagine yourself getting up from the chair, then you're more likely to do it in a more integrated way, where you won't tweak your back or you won't pull your neck or whatever. So think about that. If you do have any aches or pains, before you do a movement, imagine yourself doing that movement, and it will occur in a more integrated way, just naturally, because your brain is primed. It gets ready for you to do that movement. Your energy is already like going towards there. So you put that intention, and it will help you move more gracefully. And when you move gracefully, then you're less likely to injure yourself. And that occurs too in life. If we move gracefully, then we are less likely to hurt. And it's a dance, right? Because we will hurt, but if we move with the flow of it, there's an ease to the process. So even though there are challenges, it's like you get to go with it and learn to like really flow through life. So that's the first thing, is simple elegance. Grace equals flow. Number 2, this is a great definition of grace. Courteous goodwill. Kindness. I don't know how much research we need for this, but really being kind. And this is a major theme, a major message in the world right now. It probably is always, but I feel like it's especially relevant right now. We think about what's going on with coronavirus, with race and everything, every kind of disagreement. Just be kind. Can we get that message globally? Can we get that individually? Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and be kind to the earth. So once we really hear those really important messages, I feel like things will start to shift and evolve more quickly for us as a whole, globally, as a planet. And so many of you have been so gracious to me during this time of my grief with my dad's passing. And I really appreciate that patience and understanding and the sharing of stories and all your kind words. I haven't been able to get back to everyone one-on-one, and I will in time, but that has helped to uplift me during these hard times for me and my family. And so to me, that is an act of grace. Like, that is your goodwill to me. And it's courteous goodwill, but to me, courteous is more than being polite. It's not necessarily like the Southern sugar-coated politeness, but it has to be combined with a sincerity, right? So you don't just go through the action. It's more a connection of mind, body, spirit, that heart with the mind, with the action, that you're sincere, that you're authentic in your goodwill and your kindness. And it's not just a box to check off, that you really feel it. It's coming from your heart. And there's so many ways that we can act graciously and be kind. You think about how that word is used in language. So to graciously decline an invitation, to be kind about it. So to know that your words and your actions affect other people, and so to be kind about the way you do it. And for my patients, you may think I'm always gracious, but of course it is not true. I'm just like the rest of you, and I'm a mom of 4, and so my kids will tell you that yes, it is not true that I am not always gracious. But my kids are very gracious with me and my behavior and my words and my actions. So once I was saying to them that I didn't want to have any more sugar because I didn't want to be grumpy because of the sugar. If I was going to be grumpy, I wanted to be grumpy just because of my free will. And so they graciously laughed at this and they let me go through my grumpy time because they know that it will pass. Health is in the flow. They know that, whatever mood that I am in, that it will pass. And so they just kind of chuckled at it and laughed that, okay, we get it. You don't want to be grumpy because something made you grumpy. You want to be grumpy because, it's just what you're going through. Number 3. So to say your graces. So this is another definition of grace, is a prayer to give thanks before a meal. So gratitude, thankfulness. This has plenty of research of how gratitude can help you, mind, body, and spirit, and help you heal. And so this is another way to be gracious, is to give thanks, and to do that throughout your day. Incorporate it in the little things. Sometimes we think about giving thanks for the big things, but what about the little things? And so it is, I guess, mealtime is a nice time to do that if that's part of your routine. And I also do that for every patient. I give thanks for the honor of being able to be in this, have the opportunity to possibly help somebody. So for everyone that walks into my office, I give thanks for them because it's a real interaction. And, we talk about things that maybe we don't talk about as freely outside. And those are the intangibles, I call them. It's the mind, the emotion, the spirit. And so maybe those things are hard for people to talk about. But I'd like to normalize that in health, in medicine, and in life in general, so that we can talk about the things that are really important to us. And they often are those intangibles in a more normal way. So, and that brings us to number 4, to honor people by taking part in something. So to grace somebody with your presence. I don't mean this in an egotistical way, because we know that the gift of presence is really one of the biggest things you can give anyone. And that presence can help lift people through so many different things. It doesn't mean that you have to fix anything. So I noticed, like, in the grieving process, and it can be very difficult for people to handle, whether they are the ones grieving or they're helping someone through the grieving process. But I would say, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to add your presence to that. It's okay to be sad, to break down and cry. And it's okay to, these are actually quite normal, right? So I know that can feel scary to witness, whether for yourself or someone else, but it's a very important part of the healing process. So if you have a loved one, or you yourself are going through something difficult, some difficult life transition, a loved one has passed, a move, a divorce, whatever it is, and there are so many people going through hardship right now, then just to know that being able to witness that with your presence in a neutral way, in a non-judgmental way, can really help carry you through that. And if you do that for someone else without this need to try to fix it for them, because the fixing assumes something's broken. It doesn't mean that we don't have to take action to make things, to improve things, make things better, and go with ease. But I think about, like, with my dad passing, there's no fixing that, and there's no need to fix that. And to be sad and to allow the tears to flow, even if it's scary, is a really important part of the healing process, because those tears, they help to carry things out. They help to cleanse your soul, and you witnessing in a neutral way someone doing that, like being okay with someone doing that presence is such a gift. And that helps yourself, whether you're witnessing for yourself or somebody else. That really helps people to heal. And it may feel uncomfortable. That's okay. That's okay, because these are normal feelings. So to not be afraid of that. And I know that it can be scary. And I talked about this with my kids too, that maybe people won't know what to say to them, or it's hard to approach somebody that's lost something or had a difficult thing happen in their life. But I said, because there's the fear that maybe they're going to make that person hurt more, or that the person will break down into tears. And those are both, like, very real possibilities, but they're not ones to be scared of, because one, you're not going to hurt the person more by bringing your presence there. And even if it does create a leakiness of the eyes and the tears to flow, that's okay. That's okay. So to honor people by taking part in something, to bring that gift of presence. Number 5, this definition of grace: love to the unlovely, or to love without judgment, is an infinite love. It's a well of love that never ends. So this is a great gift for yourself and for others. And I think that in this context, a lot of times it comes up with talking about forgiveness. And that is a whole other topic, because I know that when I was looking for things to talk about in different perspectives, a lot of times people talked about grace as forgiveness. But I would like to bring it up as even more than that, because the love is so infinite that there's nothing to forgive. That's really difficult. But if you know deep down that each person does have a divine light, then you will know that deep down there's nothing to forgive. The outside may look horrible, the actions may be terrible, and we don't know what has happened in a person's life that made that, because I don't believe there's any baby that is born to be a horrible person, to do horrible things. That's my perspective, and I know that people may have various perspectives, and that's okay. So, take whatever is helpful for you, and you can leave the rest, but you can love people as they are. Can you imagine how that feels for yourself or for someone else to love you as you are. You're perfectly imperfect, whether you've made mistakes or not, to be loved fully as you are. That's very healing for yourself, for others. This is how people can get over chronic illness and so many things, whether it's symptoms physically or mental, emotional, or of the spirit. And the thing is that grace, it disrupts logic and enters quantum, so that each moment you can start anew. Isn't that amazing? Each moment can be a fresh new moment because you have loved so completely. There's nothing to forgive, that because you have so embraced everything, the whole, a person, you or someone else, just as they are. And that each moment you can let go of the baggage of the past. Don't have to carry patterns with you into the future, into your present, that no longer serve you. That you can just exhale and start each moment anew with a new inhale. So that's a really beautiful thing. And, if you are familiar with any research on this topic of grace and health, I would love to know about it. Feel free to send me any links and comment, like and subscribe, of course, but I would love to hear, because I was going through and, I wasn't sure whether to mention this definition because it wasn't one that I agreed with, but it was one that I saw in an article, in a psychology article. And this was the definition that they have given for grace. It's a gift given unconditionally and voluntarily to an undeserving person by an unobligated giver, the giver being either human or divine. So I don't know why that rubs me the wrong way. It feels a little bit judgy to me because I don't believe there's anyone undeserving of love. I don't believe that. And and unobligated to send out love. Well, okay, sure, we have our free will, but isn't it what we're here for? To spread love, to live graciously, to give that gift of presence and kindness. What do you mean undeserving of kindness? It doesn't make sense to me. So that's just me. But it was a way it was described in the literature. So you can see the definitions are important because if there is any research on it, then it will affect how you look at it, right? That perspective is everything. But it's true, grace can be bestowed on people, that kindness, that love. It is whether from human or divine. So it can be given freely to anyone, to all humans, to all living beings, to the earth, to the planet, to the animals. And those blessings, this is what we're here for, right? To spread blessings in every moment of our life. And what if you did that just in your walk through your day, just wishing goodwill on everyone and kindness. And it doesn't mean that you're not allowed to feel like other kinds of feelings, but to make this, part of your daily intention and your mission is to be gracious, to act gracefully, to flow. And so I think I'm going to end with that. Thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and share. And I will be back next week at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday for another episode of the MultiDimensional MD. I'm Dr. Arlene Diamco. Lots of love to you, and I'll see you next time.